Welcome back to my dark corner of this sick world.
Something bad's gonna happen, I can feel it.
Whenever we review sequels, there's a temptation to ask, why didn't this work as well as the original?
I assume that is a rhetorical question.
And the answer is equally often either it just copied the original, or it's nothing like the original.
You probably didn't know that, did you?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation, manages to do both.
Wait. I just thought of something so cool.
The plot follows a group of teens who are dislikable,
I told you I'm a bitch.
yet self-aware,
Sorry, but we're all gonna die.
and who have a car accident on their way home from prom and get lost in the dark.
Great, now we can't see Jack.
Probably a minor issue, but it's really not that dark.
Oh, right. Like you'd know.
One of the teens stays with the car and
Well, first, I'm gonna kill you.
meets a young Matthew McConaughey. Why are you running down the road? Just go into the trees. Idiot. And his friends don't have any more luck as they run into a familiar face. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't recall Leatherface screaming all the way through the film. Director Kim Henkel, who scripted the first film, realised that the original had a shock value that this could never match, and so introduced black comedy.
Are you having fun here?
Which perhaps explains why the Leatherfaces no longer live in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, lady?
Uh-huh.
I think you got something in your trunk.
That's just somebody I got tied up back there.
But on the outskirts of a town in which no one follows up on anything.
What you got in the car, honey?
Believe me, you don't want to know.
It's also presumably why McConaughey has a remote control leg. The comedy will either work for you or not,
It's up to you.
as will McConaughey's turned up to 11 performance.
Welcome to my world.
Turned up to 12. 14. Infinity plus 1. Also, Leatherface has clearly watched Silence of the Lambs recently. Would you do me? I'd do me.
I'm not gonna put up with any more of your crap.
But Henkel also wanted to bring the franchise back to its roots, so we have teens wandering into danger.
Hold it right there.
A girl on a meat hook. Dinner with the family. And escape by car.
There's a monster chasing her with a chainsaw.
All the beats are there. True, Renée Zellweger, also at the start of her career, seems surprisingly in control for someone who's watched her friends tortured and killed.
You sit the fuck down.
Which does take the bite out of it.
Stop, you're scaring me.
But this is still Texas Chainsaw, drawing terror from the randomness of its brutality.
And they've been doing this kind of thing for like 1,000 or 2,000 years, I forget which, and nobody, I mean nobody knows their names.
Say what now?
But you know how you always hear these stories about these people who run everything, but nobody knows who they are, right?
Yes, it turns out that cannibal hillbilly attacks aren't random. They're organised by a shadowy group like the Illuminati.
This is appalling.
Yes, and although I don't think there's any answer that would make me think otherwise, why?
I want these people to know the meaning of horror.
How ironic. Not least because he now demonstrates that the meaning of horror is elaborate belly button rings and licking Renée Zellweger.
I don't want anything. Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh, no.
This movie is a mess, but let's be honest, on paper, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre shouldn't work either, so why does it?
Good question.
Because it is utterly uncompromising and offers no explanation.
Will you please tell me what all this is for?
The Next Generation, and if you don't have Patrick Stewart, you don't get to use that title, compromises by spoofing its own setup.
What's wrong with that?
Then offers an unnecessary explanation so piss poor, so head-scratching, so undermining of its own basic concept that even Ridley Scott would have rejected it.
It's been an abomination.
And wheeling out original survivor Marilyn Burns, literally, only serves to remind you of how much you'd rather be watching the original film.
You know, this isn't the first time something like this has happened.
On the other hand, if you want to see a 6-foot dead-faced Ethel Merman dancing with a chainsaw, this is the place. Thanks for watching, and thanks to Patreon shadow Dan D. Doty for recommending this film. Franchises often fail through vain attempts to recapture the success of the original, but can you think of any entries that actually succeed?